good thing I didn't challenge us to sing also. Thank you so much for joining us here to celebrate the work of the Planning Office for Urban Affairs and to honor Anne Finucane, Vice Chairman at Bank of America, for her great commitment to social justice. Anne has been a big supporter of our office for years, and we're thrilled to honor her tonight. Unfortunately, Cardinal O'Malley is unable to be here tonight. He has had a chronic knee problem that recently developed to the point where it needed immediate attention. So he's very, very sorry and disappointed to miss this. He wanted to thank all of you, and he especially wanted to be able to honor Anne personally with his presence. While we will miss Cardinal Sean, we're delighted to have Bishop Peter Uglietto, Vicar General and Moderator of the Curia, here to represent the Cardinal tonight. Bishop Uglietto is a very strong supporter of our office, and he cares deeply about providing decent, affordable, safe housing to all those in need. We have another really special guest with us here tonight in addition to Anne Finucane, and that is Monsignor Michael Groden, and he doesn't know I'm going to say this. So, Monsignor Groden is the founder of our office, who did incredible work for over 30 years at POUA, and who is more committed to social justice and helping the poor than most people you'll ever meet in your lifetime. Thank you, Mike. I promised I wouldn't embarrass him, and he did not know I was going to do that, so I had to walk it down to you, but we wanted to give you that gift as a token of our appreciation for everything you've done for the office over time. With the help of all of you, and in particular through our partnership with Bank of America, our office has accomplished so much since our last celebration. We have built 80 units of housing at the former St. Kevin's Parish in Dorchester, including 20 units for homeless families. That development has won the best new family development in the nation in 2016, and it just got the Mayor Menino Legacy Award, thanks to Preservation Mass and Larry and Marla Curtis. I don't know if they're here tonight. We completed Harbor Place in Haverhill with our partners, the Greater Haverhill Foundation. I think Sally O'Rourke might be here. That is a transformative development that reunited Haverhill with its waterfront and has mixed-income housing and a 5-story commercial building to revive downtown Haverhill. We also created affordable housing for homeless families in a former school building in Haverhill. We have begun construction on critically needed mixed-income housing in Hanover at the Cardinal Cushing Center, where people with intellectual and developmental disabilities are offered support and opportunity for growth and advancement. Working in partnership with Karen LaFrasia, who I know is here tonight, at St. Francis House, we will soon start construction to convert 48 Boylston Street in downtown Boston into affordable housing for people who have been homeless and for those who have very modest incomes, bringing affordable housing to an area where luxury condominiums dot and crowd the skyline in Chinatown. I know we have Karen Chen here from CPA tonight, and we're trying to help keep some affordable housing in that part of the downtown. In partnership with Donald Alexis, who is here tonight, Donald, from the Caribbean Integration Community Development, we will also be developing 2 very significant sites in Mattapan. And we have significant work underway also in Brockton. I think the sisters are here from Brockton tonight. Sister Ruth, I didn't get to say hello. Thank you so much working with the sisters from Brockton. And on second phases at both Harbor Place and 48 Boylston Street. Finally, one of our most critical new efforts has begun to provide safe haven to victims of human trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation, following on Pope Francis's call to end this form of modern slavery and human degradation. We've worked very closely with Mayor Walsh, Attorney General Maura Healey, Boston Police Commissioner Bill Evans and his Human Trafficking Unit, Casa Myrna, an extraordinary service provider. Is Stephanie here tonight? Stephanie, thank you. Casa Myrna, who will be providing the services at the Safe Haven. And we've worked with the EVA Center, a survivor advocacy group who are helping women exit the sex trade, and that is led by the remarkable Sherry Jimenez, who could not be here tonight. Most people don't know that human trafficking is a very serious problem in the city and in Massachusetts. Only 9% of the women involved locally in the sex trade are foreign nationals. A lot of people don't realize that these are our families and our friends who get lured into this, and 65% are between the ages of 17 and 25 years old. There's also this is a hard thing to wrap our heads around, but there's a disproportionate percentage of young women trafficked locally who are aging out of government support systems, such as DCF and DYS. And there are also 5,000 homeless high school students without a parent or guardian, many of whom turn to the sex industry as a survival mechanism to obtain food and shelter, the basic shelter that we're trying to provide for everyone as affordable housing. For these reasons, Cardinal O'Malley, through our office, joined forces with our government, nonprofit, and law enforcement partners to create a safe haven for survivors. And while all of you tonight have already done so much to plant seeds of hope, you can help even more by texting. We've never done this before, and for this cause we will. By texting support to support survivors of human trafficking. All of the funds, and you might have seen when you came in, and on the tables there are just these little cards that give you some instructions. All of the funds raised here this evening will go directly to the Safe Haven, and hopefully we can get some resources for Stephanie to help out with the women there. So please pick up a card now on your way out. Just follow the simple instructions and take a couple for your friends and family, because we've started to plant seeds of hope here tonight, and you can continue that on once we leave the room. We're honoring Anne Finucane tonight for her work in the name of social justice, for her passion and dedication to helping those in need, and because so much of this work started with her. Anne was instrumental in launching a deep commitment by the bank to help our office build capacity, increase our development activity, and move to a more sustainable business model. Since 2001, Bank of America has provided debt and equity financing of more than $229 million and 15 developments to build more than 1,000 units, and no other financial institution has ever provided as much support for the Archdiocesan work in affordable housing. In addition to thanking Ian, I really want to thank our local Bank of America team, and there are a lot of you here, but Maria Barry, where's Maria? Dory Conlin, our local team, Trish Marinelli, Michael Clark, I saw you over there. I know there are many others. We just finished closing yet another deal together, and we'll be doing that soon. Yes, thank you so much. So there are so many of you here. I know it would be hard to thank everyone, but we are very grateful for the fabulous team we have at Bank of America. Anne's personal and professional commitment to serving those in need is at the very heart of this partnership, and for that we are most grateful. But that doesn't begin to describe Anne's work in social justice and her commitment to global reach, in her global reach in helping communities. Anne is a passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion. She champions programs that support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. She works to provide opportunities to women leaders and entrepreneurs, and she promotes environmental, social, and economic progress around the world. Anne Finucane works closely with key U.S. and global organizations, including, among literally dozens of others, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the White House, the U.S. Department of State, and the World Economic Forum. But despite her global reach, Anne remains committed at every level to help those most in need, and we are ever grateful for her work. Thank you, Anne, and thank you, our partners at Bank of America. Thank you. I also wanted to say a quick thank you to our committee members and to the incredible staff at the Planning Office for Urban Affairs. You know them. To our board members, I know John Noon is here, perhaps Patrick and Michael, but I wanted to say thank you to our committee members. Paul Bouton is here, I know, and I think a number of others. Maria, of course, Mike Fish. Thank you very much for your help. I now have the pleasure of introducing a most remarkable person, Father Brian Hare. Father Hare is Secretary for Healthcare and Social Services for the Archdiocese of Boston and is a professor at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. Previously, Father Hare served as the president of Catholic Charities USA. He was at the U.S. Catholic Conference of Bishops, directing the Office of International Affairs and the Department of Social and Political Affairs. He served as a member of the Georgetown University faculty and as the dean of the Harvard Divinity School, among dozens of other roles he has played in service to others. Father Hare's decades of work focuses on Catholic social teaching, the role of religion in American society and world politics, and issues of social and foreign policy. He is a member of, or has served on the boards of countless organizations, both locally and worldwide, including the American Philosophical Society, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the Arms Control Association, to name just a few. Father Hare's biography kind of reads like Anne Finucane's, which means that if I said much more, neither one of them would get to speak, because they've both done so much and represented us so much locally, nationally, and really across the world globally. When Pope Francis surprised the world with his TED Talk in April, he spoke of a revolution of tenderness. I love that part, because you don't hear people who talks about tenderness today. His talk taught us that the secret to remarkable leadership is humility and tenderness and using your power to help others. Father Hare has spent his entire life doing that, and we are privileged to have him here with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Father Brian Hare.
Thank you very much, Lisa. My mother would have believed every word of it, but you should be a little more critical about it. So I have two tasks to fulfill tonight. Lisa had asked me if I would make remarks honoring Anne at this event, and that is clearly for me a personal privilege and a pleasure. In addition to that, because Cardinal O'Malley is not able to be with us tonight, he has sent a personal message to Anne, and I have the privilege of reading that message to you. Allow me to express my gratitude for your presence this evening with the Archdiocesan Planning Office for Urban Affairs. We are all aware that affordable housing is of critical importance for the well-being of our communities. Your support of the important work of providing individuals and families through this office is a suitable, dependable place to live, and it makes a significant difference for the people we serve in this archdiocese. I am most grateful, the Cardinal says, to Anne Finucane, her commitment to social justice, her genuine concern for those who are in need, and her commitment to the mission of improving the lives of others. In the Gospels, we see Jesus recognizing the needs of the women and men of his time and responding by advocating for them and taking action on their behalf. By way of that example, Jesus provided the model for discipleship in the midst of the challenges of life. Anne Finucane has clearly taken the call to discipleship to heart and truly brings the presence of the Lord to people in their daily lives through her advocacy and her good works, the public initiatives we celebrate this evening, and in addition, many quiet times of private outreach to those in need. Thank you, Anne, for who you are and all you do. Be assured of my continued prayers for you and your family, and of my looking forward to our continuing work together to build up a community of respect, decency, and goodness. Cardinal Sean O'Malley, Archbishop of Boston. So Lisa's invitation, as I said, for me was a privilege and a pleasure. But like many other people that spend their lives behind classroom lecterns and at events like this, after you say yes, then in the quiet of night you say, now how do I live up to this? And then things get much more difficult. So I had to think of the challenge of being invited to make these remarks on an evening honoring Anne Finucane. And the challenge, it seemed to me, was twofold. First of all, there are many people in this room that know Anne for a longer period of time than I have and know her better than I do, although I've had the privilege of knowing her for over a decade. Secondly, if my remarks are supposed to synthesize this life that we honor tonight, that's a bit like climbing Mount Everest. This is a dynamic life of variegated accomplishments across a range of years and throughout the city of Boston, one of the most well-known contributors to our common weal and our common good. So I tried to think about how to do this. And it seemed to me you had to find a theme that put together this life, and a theme that will be described in 8 minutes. So as long as you're standing, don't worry about a thing. The theme is complexity and simplicity. This is a life woven around those two ideas, complexity and simplicity. At least that's the way I would put it. Complexity is about what Anne does. This is a woman who sits at the heart of the overwhelming dominant challenge of the age. How do you direct, for the benefit of all, a globalized world? To be a globalized world means we're locked together in a limited world. It's integration further, faster, farther, across nations and national boundaries. We're all touched by it, but we're not all benefiting from it. And so she sits right at the intersection of one of the most challenging realities of the age. Globalization has its own logic. It doesn't have its own ethic. It stands in need of a moral framework, and that moral framework is part of what we honor in the person we honor this night. She also sits at the heart of the American economy. Banking and finance, the driving force of globalization, is located primarily in this country, but it spreads throughout the globe. And banking and finance are institutions that have direct consequences for people's personal and public lives. They touch how people can meet the American dream, buy a home, send their kids to college. We need people in those institutions that have a sense of the human consequences of what they do each day. And sitting at the heart of a globalized world and the American economy is one of those people who are willing to foster the positive aspects, but to reshape those powerful forces for those who are on the edge of the circle of life. I say her life is about complexity, because you can't deal with those forces unless you have the intelligence, the background, the drive, and the determination to shape forces of global proportions, financial and economic content. As chair of the Environmental and Social and Governance Council at the Bank of America, as chair of the Common Development Portfolio, she works at both levels, the global level and the national level. The Common Development Fund, for example, makes capital available to those who don't have access through the ordinary channels of gaining capital, for loaning capital to those seeking to build their lives. The charitable fund of the Bank of America sits also on her desk. So think of that. Environment, social governance, community development portfolio, and old-fashioned charitable funding, because you have to both shape institutions and you have to be able to reach out to those who are in immediate need. So I would argue that her life touches both the structural and individual characteristics of what it means to live in a city like ours, which is magic in terms of its education, its healthcare, and its finance, but also is also marked by severe inequality, as we know. So it's the ability to both push the positive, but it's also the ability to reach out to those who have not been touched by it. Complexity means dealing with the institutions that shape our lives and complexity means having an eye for the personal consequences of powerful forces in society that are in need of a human and moral vision. So that's where simplicity comes in. Simplicity, of course, for Anne does not mean simplistic. That's not the point. Simplicity is different. Simplicity is not about what she does. I think it's about what she believes. In the midst of facing complexity, what a person needs is a vision, a clarifying vision that helps a person be grounded when they're dealing with overwhelming questions. The Hebrew Scriptures have a wonderful phrase. They say, where there is no vision, people perish. And what that means is, where there are not people in the right places in the shaping of our society who lack vision, people perish. So I submit the other half of Anne's life is the vision that moves her each day. When you talk about vision, you talk about where a person is grounded and rooted, where the moral compass of their life is. Because without a moral compass, we can either be overwhelmed by the facts and the complexity, and we can be blinded by the positive side and misunderstand how many lie outside the circle of those who benefit from the positive dimensions of our society. So what does vision mean as you find it reflected in the life of the person we honor tonight? First, an eye for the edge of the circle of life. That's what's necessary as the start. Secondly, a memory again of the Hebrew prophets, who once said the quality of your faith is dependent on the character of justice in the land. And what that means is you can test the worth of a society by how the orphans, the widows, and the immigrants fare. And in our society, the most vulnerable people are orphans, widows, and immigrants. We need people with a sense of moral vision about the edge of the circle. Finally, her life represents an old-fashioned phrase, actually rooted in the Scriptures, but possessed in secular terms. To whom much is given, much is expected. And that kind of mandate, in a sense, is one she's met. So I conclude with one final thought. As you think about the edge of the circle, as you think about a complexity of a world that needs shaping by moral vision, I turn often to a voice from the 1940s, the voice of Albert Camus, the French Nobel Prize-winning novelist, the voice of the French resistance during World War II. Camus was asked at the end of World War II to speak to a group of Dominican priests about the future of Europe. And he came to speak to them as an agnostic. God was in doubt for him. At best, God was in doubt. But he spoke to them about how he, as an agnostic, dealt with evil in the world. And he closed the speech this way. He said, "It may not be possible for us to create a world in which no innocent children die, but it is possible to create a world in which fewer innocent children die." And as we look for allies in this fight, where will they come from? Tonight, we honor a woman who is one of those allies for Camus' voice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Father Hare. That's another tough one to follow. Harder than following the kids singing, actually. I now have the great pleasure and privilege to introduce Bishop Peter Uglietto to say a few words. I mentioned that he was here on behalf of the Cardinal earlier this evening, and Bishop is the Vicar General and the moderator of the Curia of the Archdiocese. And Bishop Uglietto and I sit on a board together, Catholic Charities, and I have to say I'm always constantly struck actually, by his insight, his compassion and convictions, and what he offers to the board members and the organization there. And we are also very grateful for the support that Bishop Uglietto offers to our office, to the work that we do, and to those we have the privilege of serving. Please join me in welcoming Bishop Peter Uglietto.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank all of you for joining us tonight and for your support. It's my privilege to be among you tonight as Cardinal Sean's auxiliary and vicar. I am very pleased to be part and participate in this great effort tonight. The Archdiocese of Boston is blessed by the Bank of America's long-standing collaboration with the Catholic Planning Office of Urban Affairs. Cardinal O'Malley and the Archdiocese are grateful to Anne Finucane and her team for their support. With their help, the Planning Office has been able to accomplish much good on behalf of the Church, serving those in need of decent, affordable homes and helping those who are suffering from poverty, neglect, and income inequality. Since 2001, Bank of America has provided over $229 million in financing for the Archdiocese's affordable housing developments. That investment has allowed us to build more than 1,000 units of housing for individuals and families who otherwise would not have had access to suitable and appropriate place to call their home. The assurance of a secure residence allows families, vulnerable women, the elderly, the disabled, and the homeless to focus on other critical needs, such as finding employment, feeding their families, and completing their education, foundations upon which lives can be built. On behalf of Cardinal O'Malley, thank you, Anne, for your leadership, your compassion, and your commitment. Would you please come up forward? We'd like to offer you this token of our appreciation. Lisa, you got it.
Thank you, everybody. My father, who is deceased but was an intellectual, would be delighted that at a gathering that Camus was even mentioned in my presence. As a kid growing up, my best friend and I would go skiing with my father, and we would put the books in the front seat, Willa Cather, Camus, Nietzsche, whatever, that we were supposed to have read, and then he would tell us the sort of the Berlitz of it going back and forth. So it's a sort of a fun memory. So The Stranger was the first of those. And also, I would like, if I could have written remarks sent to Brian Moynihan, because he thinks none of this, and I would be delighted that he... I appreciate, Father Hare, that you said, how do I live up to this? Because most people wonder, how do I get out of this? And it's a very nice thing. It's my great honor to be here tonight, and thank you, Father Hare, and Bishop Uglietto, and Lisa, who I most appreciate, and particularly Michael Groden, because we really are here because of Michael Groden. When he began the office, I was at a much earlier stage in my career, and he was a very influential person in my life, and to get us going, to have our own community development program that Maria has been able to not only establish but lead so brilliantly. But he really was the start of this for us, and I know for the Archdiocese. So thank you very much, Michael. It's great to see you out tonight. I also want to thank Michal Chamberlain. Michal, if you can just raise your hand. He's our president of the Massachusetts Bank and sort of is for Bank of America and a major force for us in terms of leadership. Maria and her team, and I see a lot of colleagues, so I'm asking, along with Maria Barry and Marianne and others, if you could just raise your hand from Bank of America, because these are the people that make this happen for us. I just have a few things to say. One, we have the highest regard for the mission of the Urban Planning Office. What you've been able to do with the resources you have, and sometimes with the resources you don't have, has been nothing less than remarkable. And you are, I hope, a compliment, or we are a compliment to you, I would hope, that a belief in a sustainable economy means a belief in that everybody gets to participate in a sustainable economy, in every community, every family, every individual, and that we have the respect for them so that we can make things possible that might not otherwise be possible. I would just say this: we have for a very long time sought to use our size and our scale to deploy capital to support our local economy, wherever that local economy is, which includes providing affordable housing and homes for individuals and families, because it's through the work of Maria and her team and Lisa and her team, begun by Michael, supported by the Cardinal, by you, Bishop Ugliato, by everybody in the church, that has made not only for a good business, but has made for a level of respect. And everyone in this room is a testament to this, that when you have the opportunity to work with companies and partners that support and who want to do the right thing, that this kind of progress is possible and can be celebrated. So for all of those reasons, I'm enormously grateful. I'm humbled by this. I don't deserve it, but I'm happy to take it. And I wish you all a very good night. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Anne. And thank you again for reminding us all of the work of Monsignor Groden. And I was going to say that when we established our relationship and established a more sustainable business model, it enabled us to build on the work that Monsignor Groden had done for the previous 30 years. And so we're very grateful for that again. So we always promise at our event to have a short program and a fair amount of wine and some good appetizers. And so this does conclude our program tonight, and we want to thank you all for our presence. I would like to ask the members of the event committee who are here to maybe join us up front for a photograph, so we can not lose you before the evening is over. And please remember, we have, again, planted a lot of seeds of hope this evening and the work you've already done. And please remember, again, that we can continue to support victims of human trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation by taking the card, giving it to some friends, and we are going to commit to give everything raised here this evening to the Safe Haven and Stephanie's work. We also, as you leave downstairs on the table, you will see we have a small gift for you that's been prepared by the students and young adults at the Cardinal Cushing Center. And we have little packets of notepads, and they thought it would be lovely to provide a little seed packet along the theme that we've established for the evening. So there's a little seed packet of some wildflowers that you can plant and have that grow along with your continuing commitment to support our work and the office. So thank you very much again. Enjoy the rest of the evening and have some more food and some beverage. Thanks so much. Thank you, Anne.